Hello everyone, my name is Jim Donnelly, Technical Agronomist with DeKalb Asgrow in Northern Illinois, and I'm coming at you from the middle of a cornfield in northern Lee County in Northern Illinois, and I wanted to provide a very important update with regards to some foliar diseases that we're picking up here in Northern Illinois as the weeks go on. Basically, for the first month or two, foliar diseases have been fairly quiet. We've seen a decent amount of gray leaf spot showing up, but the ones that we were looking for, like tar spot, was very quiet. But I wanted to provide an update on two particular diseases that we're a little bit concerned with going forward for the rest of the growing season. One of those is southern rust of corn, and the next one is tar spot. So I want to talk about southern rust really quickly here. We are starting to see a fair amount of it really show up in many area cornfields, and this particular one can be very aggressive. It's known to be very aggressive in the southern states. Up here, not so much. We tend to get cooler temperatures, which this particular disease likes warmer temperatures, and it also takes a little time for it to get up here. So it's a disease that does not overwinter here. It takes time for it to come up and blow up from the south every season. And because of that, usually it takes a little while to get here and establish itself. For whatever reason this year, and we think it's from Tropical Storm Cristobal that showed up, I believe, end of May, first part of June, something like that, we believe that helped transport spores up here, and that's why we're seeing so much at this point in time. So I'm kneeling next to a spot here of very heavy southern rust, and based on the symptoms and the amount of disease we see here, that's probably about the right time for when this probably got started. So we do think that this has been here a couple months, and really over the past week, we've really seen southern rust really start to explode, so to speak, in area cornfields. I do think that this will be one that's very common to see come the end of harvest. And in particular instances where a fungicide wasn't used whatsoever with a susceptible hybrid and in an area that received southern rust early, I do think that there's potential to have yield loss in those areas. So, with southern rust, I really want farmers to be on the lookout in their fields, to be watching for this disease, especially if they have not used a fungicide yet. This thing, if you get symptoms like this, like you see here, in areas that leaves are inundated, and you have lesions showing up on the stalks, if you have that before R3, you really need to be considering a fungicide application, because this thing can move fast. One thing that might help is these cooler temperatures probably will slow it down. Wetness, any sort of leaf wetness will help kind of continue the development, but this thing doesn't like really cold temperatures. So thankfully that'll probably slow that down, but as soon as it warms back up again, which it's bound to, there's still a lot of summer yet to go, this thing will kick back up. So the second disease that I want to talk about is tar spot. As of about a couple weeks ago, we really weren't seeing anything to any amount. We were seeing basically some very light scattered tar spot lesions in fields, but really nothing to write home about whatsoever. Fast forward 2 weeks, it's a whole different story. We're really starting to see, thanks to pretty favorable weather conditions, frequent rainfall, we're really starting to see tar spot on the move, and in some areas in a big way. This particular field that I'm in, I noticed about last week we had rapidly increasing tar spot, and this week it's very common to find those really big clusters of tar spot lesions on the lower leaves, and even up into the middle part of the canopy where tar spot is starting to spread. A big reason is that this weather is absolutely perfect. So today was cloudy, overcast all day. It didn't get out of the 60s. We had rainfall the day before. That's absolutely perfect conditions for tar spot to spread. So that's a big concern of mine, that going forward, especially in fields that haven't been sprayed with a fungicide yet, that we really need to pay attention in those areas, because we might get surprised. For those that have already been sprayed, still remain on the lookout. you know, it's always possible if you're in a very heavy area that things can pick back up again, especially if you sprayed 2 weeks ago and your residual's starting to wear out, something like that. You know, it's something that we need to be at least cautious of. So here's an example of a leaf that actually has symptoms of both diseases on it. If you look close, you can see those black specks, which are, of course, the tar spot lesions, but also you have those yellowish lesions with the rust pustules in the middle. That's the southern rust. So a great example of having both diseases, both symptoms on one leaf, let alone both diseases in the same field. So in summary, it's a fairly unique situation where we have both tar spot and southern rust coming on aggressively in area cornfields. So, you know, bottom line is because both of these can be aggressive under the right conditions, I really want growers and consultants to be on the lookout for both of these diseases and keep in mind that both of them can really take off in a very quick manner under the right conditions. So, you know, especially if we have fields that have not been sprayed with a fungicide and are early on in ear fill, or they were late planted, I think that those should be top of mind to make sure that we're out looking and seeing how much disease we have there and making a decision whether we need to treat with a fungicide or not. So bottom line is please be on the lookout. If you have any questions, please reach out to your Bayer team. There's several of us that can help you either ID diseases correctly or recommend, you know, what you should or shouldn't do as far as a treatment. So take care, look at your fields, and good luck.